guys, and welcome back to my channel. How's everybody doing today? I hope y'all are doing great. I'm doing great because I feel fabulous, and I mean, I'm looking pretty fabulous too, right? Pat McGrath, our mother, our auntie, she just dropped some new on us, and y'all know I am a fellow makeup lover. I know a lot of you guys are too. And when I showed this on Instagram, so many people were like, so are you going to do a video or not? Now, typically I would have been like, nah, because as much as people ask for makeup videos, most of them don't watch, don't comment. So if you're someone who asked for this video, do me a favor, make sure first you're subscribed, your notification bell is on, but also like this video, comment your favorite look, and just engage, okay? So today I'm giving you guys 3 looks, 1 palette, and this look that you're seeing right here is one of them, and that is featuring the new Celestial Divinity holiday palette from Pat McGrath. There is a crap ton of beautiful shades in here, and I just had to use it. So I'm going to give you guys the looks, and then I'm also going to give you guys a little breakdown of how I feel about the palette and whether I think it's worth your money. So if you are interested in seeing the 3 different looks that I created using the Celestial Divinity palette, then just keep on watching. Okay guys, so let's get started. So obviously I am using my Celestial Divinity palette, but I wanted a little bit of more of a brown tone in this look, so I'm going into that light brown shade in my Bronze Temptation Sublime palette. This is one of her older 6-pan palettes because I wanted to keep it in brand. Now you can't get this palette anymore, but you can use any shade that's close to this. So I'm just working that into my crease as well as above as my transition shade. I like to lay down a really good transition shade. This just helps to get a better blend. And I am going in with a fluffier brush. This is from Urban Decay, and I'm just going in and furthering that blend. So once all of that is laid down, I'm going into the Celestial Divinity palette, and I'm going into that top 3rd shade, which is Major Mahogany. This is a beautiful shade, but I didn't want this look to be as pinky purple as the palette comes off. I wanted to bring out a little bit more of that ashiness in the shade, and that's exactly what laying down that first shade did. So I am really just kind of blowing this out and setting the foundation for the color, and then just going back in with my brush, adding more color as I go and blending. You will notice that I am definitely one to go back and pack and blend and pack and blend until I get my desired opacity. And I will use different brushes to achieve this look, just so I can kind of get a little bit of extra depth in my crease. I also tend to take my shades up a little bit higher just because I have such a small crease, so it's kind of like I have a little bit of a bigger canvas to play with, even though I really don't. And now I'm just taking an Anastasia brush. This is one from one of my palettes that I have from Anastasia. And I'm just using this tighter crease brush just to really deepen that color in the crease. And then I'm taking the other side of that Urban Decay brush, and I am applying the shade Odyssey. This is a really beautiful foiled like purple with some pink shift to it. I started using this dry, but as I continue to apply the color, I do kind of take some out of the pan, spray it with my setting spray, and then continue to apply it to get that foiled look that I'm really going for. And this is so beautiful. It is a little chunky, but overall this turned out so beautifully. And then on the outer corner, I'm going in with that deep purple shade, Smoked Amethyst, just to kind of add a little bit more depth, but something that was also going to add a little bit of pop. And then I am going into my crease, not my crease, my inner corner with the shade Dragonfly, and just intensifying that to complete my look. So that's the first look. I just popped on my House of Lashes Iconic Light Lashes to complete the look. I did some wing liner this time, just black liquid liner. And then I used my KVD Crucifix liner, as well as my Marc Jacobs lip gloss in the shade Skin Deep to top everything off. And that is the first look. Okay, so I'm starting off with my Anastasia eye primer for this, and I did go in and set that down just so it wouldn't be super tacky and it would be easier to blend. So I'm starting off with that light pinky purple shade in the palette. I believe it is called Venusian Orchid, and I'm using that as my crease color. So you can see this has like a really pretty light orchid base. So I am blending that up relatively high. I'm not really putting it directly into the crease. I'm actually putting it more so above my crease, and then I'm also running that along my lower lash line as well. And if you see me laughing, it's because I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. I like to watch all the old shows because they're the best ones. Comment down below if you're a Grey's Anatomy fan. Alright, and then now I am going back into my crease with that Major Mahogany shade. So this is going to go in and add some depth. So you can kind of see how different this shade looks against that Venusian Orchid shade as a, compared to the brown that I used in the first look. So I'm really going in and packing that color in just to really build up the shade and add further depth. And I'm really keeping this closer to my actual crease, and of course I'm going to build that up in the crease, on the outer V, and a little bit on the lower lash line just to add some extra depth. And then I'm just further blending that out with that Urban Decay brush just to make sure everything is nice and seamless. And then going back in just to add a little bit more depth. I do like to switch off just a couple of brushes when I'm really trying to get that perfect seamless blend. So I like to build, and then I like to really blend and kind of give everything that airbrush effect. And then on the outer corner, I am taking that Smoked Amethyst shade again, just because it is the deepest shade in the palette. I'm just really building up that outer V because I do want to create some drama, and I'm not using liquid liner for this look, so I really want to accentuate that outer V. All right, and now I'm going in with a flat brush, and I am taking the shade Corruption, and I am putting that from the middle to the outer parts of my lid space. I am adding some setting spray to that and just kind of building up that color. This has a really nice shift to it. It's like red, but kind of like magenta pinky-ish, depending on how you switch your head. And then I'm also going in on that inner third of my eyelid with the shade Corruption. This is like a greeny gold shade. I was inspired by Andrea Renee, actually. I kind of recreated her look here. And I just love the way these colors look. I don't know, low-key kind of reminds me of Christmas, but it comes off like so pretty on the eye. So I'm just building those colors up, making sure everything is nice and seamless. And then, oh, I did use liquid liner in this look. It's the last look that I didn't use liquid liner. Sorry. I'm just taking my Anastasia liquid liner. I'm just not doing a bold wing. So I am lining my lashes with the liquid liner just to kind of blend my falsies together, because I feel like a look like this really does deserve some falsies. And then in my inner corner, I am taking the shade Lunar Champagne to highlight my inner corner. And this is the final look. I used the Fenty PMS matte lipstick on my lips, and then I also finished this look off with my Lash Couture lashes from Ardell in the style Teddy. I really like this look. It's not really traditional. I know it's probably not gonna be a fan favorite, but this look gave me all the life that I had. So shout out to Andrea Renee for the inspo. And then for the last look, because I wanted to do a cut crease, I went ahead and did one eye off camera just to practice. So again, I'm going in with that Venusian Orchid shade all over the crease, as well as like my upper portion of my eyelid. So for this look, I really am focusing on blowing the colors out and taking them a little bit higher up, because I am really kind of creating a new crease for my eyes. So this really is going to be that base to keep everything blended. I mean, it's just such a pretty shade. So then I am going into the shade Venomous Void. This is a really beautiful, deep purpley, not quite burgundy shade. It's definitely more in like that purple kind of magenta realm. And I am running that through the crease on the bottom lash line, and then going back in and building that up deeper in the crease. Now this kind of requires quite a few, it requires a lot of blending and a lot of precision work to get the exact look that I wanted. But I really am just kind of being messy with the shade, because we're going to clean it up with a cut crease anyway. So I'm taking more of that Anastasia eye primer, and you can see I'm just putting it on the lid, and then I kind of look up to create that new crease. So I'm kind of allowing my natural eye shape to create that new crease to do the actual cut crease. And then I'm just going in with that flat brush, and I'm just patting that in. So now I'm taking more of that Venomous Void shade, and I'm really deepening up the outer corner, and I'm taking a super duper precise brush, and I am packing in that color right along the edge of that cut crease. So I really am trying to make sure I'm adding in more depth, but also still keeping it precise. I don't want to really mess up the crease that I created, but I do want to also make sure that things are somewhat blended. And then now I'm going in with one of my old Urban Decay brushes. I think this came out of the electric palette, and I'm using this to pack on the shade Cosmic. This is a really beautiful duochrome. It's like a light pink with a gold champagne shift, and I'm just using this with some setting spray to pack it on that lid space that I created. So I'm using the larger side to pack it on initially, and then I'm going in with that really tiny precise side to really clean everything up. And then for the liner, I actually went in and used the smoked amethyst shade. So I added some setting spray to that to kind of liquefy it, and I used a really tight, I believe this is actually an eyebrow brush from Urban Decay, and I went in and used that as my liner. Now I'm just going back in, blowing everything back out and that upper part of my crease, doing a little bit of extra detail work just to make sure everything's nice and soft and blended. And I'm finishing my inner corner with the shade Galactic Gold. Y'all, this is my favorite look out of all of them. I mean, you can't deny how gorgeous this is. I finished off with KVD liner and my Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Topaz, and I also finished the eyes off with my Ardell lashes in the style Teddy. And that is it for the final look. Alright guys, so those are the 3 looks that I created using this palette. So let me go ahead and give you guys my overall thoughts on the palette. What's so different about this from all the other Pat McGrath palettes is that you are getting 18 shades in here. Now they are much smaller from what you typically get in a Pat McGrath palette. So you can see the pan size here. But in comparison, this is my Midnight Sun palette from Pat McGrath. And you can see the shadows are much larger, and you can tell they're deeper too. So that's typically what you would get in a Pat McGrath palette. So you are getting less product in this palette, but overall I feel like this is a great buy, especially if you're new to Pat McGrath shadows. So this was $78, I believe. I was able to get this 10% off because they put up a coupon code for those who are members on her website. So overall, I feel like this is an awesome palette. Like a lot of other Pat McGrath palettes, if you want to, you can create depth in the crease, but there aren't really a lot of transition shades for my skin tone. So that lighter pink shade that I used a lot, the Dragonfly shade, is really beautiful and it's a nice transition. But this one here and this one here, that brownish red shade, are a little too deep for me to use as strictly transition colors. They're more perfect for me for defining the crease and adding depth to my looks. Overall, I absolutely love the shades in this palette. You get a lot of really beautiful jewel tones and shimmer tones in this palette. So I think that this is a really great option for anyone who has been wanting to try Pat McGrath and hasn't really been able to cope with the price of a Pat McGrath palette. But I also think it's great for those who are, you know, not new to this, they're true to this when it comes to Pat McGrath shadows, because this is the same great quality. The mattes are absolutely stunning and beautiful. You don't have to really add a lot of pigment to get the look that you want. With Pat McGrath shadows, especially the mattes, they're so pigmented that I start off very lightly and continue to blend and blend until it is the opacity that I want. Because if I don't, it's very easy to go crazy with these shadows. Like, they are so pigmented, which is great because you're spending a lot of money, but you are getting high quality shadows. I really enjoyed the shimmers as well. This purple color that I used in the first look was a little crumbly. I think that's called what, bronze? I think so, bronze. Or I don't know. No, I think it's Odyssey. Yeah, I think this is Odyssey. This is a really pretty shade. It was a bit crumbly though. And I found that I did get some crumbling from this shade too. What is it? Cosmic. But I was really digging in the pans. With normal regular use, I don't think that that's going to be an issue for most people unless you're really trying to build up the color. And for this one, I actually found it easier for me to like dig the shadow out, put it on the back of my hand, add a little bit of my setting spray to it to really liquefy it to get that foiled look that I was going for. These shades are just absolutely 100% stunning. You don't have to work hard to get pigment. I mean, look at that. Like, there were honestly so many other looks that I wanted to do, but I said, let me stick to 3 because I ain't want to bore y'all, especially because I know this is not a makeup channel, but I mean, I'm more than just hair, right? But I mean, the sheer pigment, the shine, the gloss, it's just so beautiful. Now, of course, if you know Pat McGrath, you're not getting any of those super special shades that are in her regular palettes. And if you're new to Pat McGrath, then you may not know what I'm talking about. But shades like these 3 here, like this one, and this one, they may not look super special in the pans, but they are a different formula. If you pay attention to the finish on these compared to like this shimmer and this shimmer here, there's definitely a difference. So you're getting like this formula and these 2, you're not getting these formulations of her special shades. And what makes them special is the ingredients. I think there's like crystals and pearls and all sorts of stuff in there. So if you're just comparing like texture, you can literally see the actual like pearl and glitter finishes in those shadows, and that's what makes those so special, but also much more expensive to make. I honestly feel like a lot of the decrease in price point has to do with not getting any of those special shades, but also because you are getting less product in each pan. But I honestly feel like, you know, for someone like me who is always wearing makeup, I have a lot of different palettes. I don't mind having smaller pans. I don't need a giant thing of eyeshadow to justify my purchase. Overall, I'm in love with this palette, and I think that if you're a Pat McGrath lover or you're just a makeup lover in general, I think that you are also going to love this palette. It's so easy to use. The mirror on it is amazing. It's just a high quality palette. I love that it is that cardboard packaging, so it's not as heavy. It's not in that lacquer packaging that she usually does, so it's going to be easier to travel with. Me personally, I would not travel with my Pat McGrath shadows, but that's just me. And so I don't know, I just really love this palette. I can't wait to see what other looks I can come up with, because there's so many other options in using this palette. I tried to avoid doing super warm like gold looks just because I do a lot of those. If I am doing a makeup look, it usually involves some kind of gold, so I wanted to involve those more violet, purpley, smoky tones. But yeah, that is it. That is my 3 looks, 1 palette featuring the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity palette. I'm really curious to know, those of you who are fellow makeup lovers, did you pick this guy up? Because I was really hyped when I saw it, and I'm debating on whether I'm going to get the quads, because the quads look pretty too. If I get any of the quads, I think it's going to be that one that has a really pretty like blue shimmer shade in it. But yeah, if you have this, let me know, what do you think about the palette? Do you love the quality? Do you love the shades? I think pretty much anyone who gets their hands on this is absolutely going to enjoy this. Whether you are new to Pat McGrath, new to makeup, or, you know, you're an old and true Pat McGrath stan. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun creating this look. It definitely was a labor of love getting this video out, but it was really fun. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please make sure that you like, comment, and share, so that we can make sure this video does well, because sis was working her booty off trying to get these looks up for y'all. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you thought about the looks and the palette down in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.